Hi, my name is Chiomah Momah and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And today we're going to have another of those conversations with Chioma where I invite people to come and join me and we talk about motherhood, being a working parent and all the things we do, how we can achieve our goals, do those things that we're created to do by God while still raising amazing individuals. And today my guest is one amazing woman, Sarah Ugamah, my friend. She is my friend, my sister. I really love her. You know that, Sarah, you know how much I love you.
I love you right back.
I love to call her a multi-preneur. This girl is a banker. She's doing her 9 to 5. She's running several businesses. And she is a mother of 2 adorable young men. Welcome again, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Chioma.
So please, Sarah, before, I tried to do a little intro, but you're a woman of many parts. Can you please give us, in a short, whatever, what is Sarah? Who is Sarah? Who is Sarah Ugamah?
Thank you for that question. I don't know how I'm going to answer that question in a very short time, but I'll just say, Sarah is a girl who loves to live, love. I am a gratitude and kindness proponent. I try to imbibe the lifestyle of Thanksgiving and encourage everyone around me to, just be grateful for everything and anything. I always like to see my cup as half full instead of half empty. And then kindness, I don't know, but I just believe that majority of the issues in the world we won't have them if everyone was conscious about kindness as a value. And so as much as I can, I try to preach that message every day. And
you live it. I must say you live it.
Thank you.
Now, something that fascinates me about you, Sarah, is how you're able to wear so many hats. You're raising 2 boys who are doing amazingly well. They're gentlemen, very courteous, lovely children, and you are doing it mostly on your own. How are you able? So it's actually 2 questions. One, how are you able to do it, not on your own per se, because you do have your support system, but on your own? And how are you able to wear all the multiple hats you wear and still be a very present mother, because you're extremely present in their lives?
Well, I guess, first of all, it starts with doing the things I do are the things that I love. I don't see them as work. They're my passion, and because I get excited when I think about them or do them, I actually don't realize the hard work until maybe when I'm done and I'm like, oh God, all that energy just went out of me. So the key thing is I found the things I love and I just try to spin them together as much as I can. And secondly, balancing that with motherhood, it's not easy.
Tell me about it.
It's not. But I just deal with it as it comes. I take each day as it comes. Of course, one of the key things that helps me is being very, very scheduled.
So organization helps you.
In fact, you can't, it has to be. I have a schedule for everything. Down to feeding, down to homework time, down to mommy and me time, down to work. For all the things that I do, for business, for passion, I schedule a time for everything. And I am not hard on myself. Where I'm not able to meet up, I just let it go. I try not to, because if I don't, I'll be burnt out. I'd experienced burnout a few times, and I've just learned to just take it in my strides, but try to put a support system in place. Honestly, Chioma, I would not have been able to do it with the kind of support system that I have. You know the saying, it takes a village? I have a village. I have a village, with friends, with family, with trusted people in my immediate circle who try to at least fill in for me when I can't. She's recently relocated, but I used to have a very close friend here in Abuja, and she used to do things as attend school meetings for me. Amazing. Where I'm not able to. Awesome. So it's just finding the right balance, right support system, and doing what you love.
Talking more about your support system, because that's really essential for every working mother, is to have that support system who helps you and who helps you hold it down. I was just telling the story recently about how I went to to a school. My child is not in that school, but I saw my friend's son and he was performing. I noticed I didn't see her in the hall, so I took a video of him performing. You know, and I sent it to her later in the day, and she almost broke down because she was like, oh, that she had a meeting, so she couldn't come, and she was feeling so broken. There was no one, you know, that could have, you know, gone at that, you know, short notice and all that. So those are, you know, those are the things when you think about having a support system, people around you who can stand in and stand in the gap. So for your support system in the home place, nannies, because there's a lot of nanny paranoia.
Yeah.
How are you able to intentionally choose the right people that are a good fit for your home?
Now, before I answer that question, let me just quickly speak on something you mentioned about, you know, your friends, your friend not being able to make it for meetings. I've been in that situation so many times where my son has a performance and for some funny reason I'm called for a meeting last minute. Now, I made a conscious effort to make friends with a few of my son's moms in the same class.
Fantastic.
So sometimes I might be running late. Maybe the performance was supposed to start at a particular time. So we cover for each other.
Yes.
So
yes.
we're in the same class,
Yes.
and we know that, oh, we just look around the hall.
And
Oh,
once
this
you don't see
person's
this
mom is
person,
not there.
yes.
Oh, this child is. So I'm on my way and I'm getting videos, you know,
without
already,
asking.
without asking.
It happens
Yes.
as well to my
So
fantastic.
that would help. I mean, for moms who, or parents who can't maybe make it at short notice, it's just one or two, you know, friends. Just be acquainted with a few parents
in your child's
class.
Very
who can
important.
come, you know, cover up for you. Then for the nanny business, honestly, you know, we're Nigerians and we do a lot of proverbs. You know that proverb that says the cow that doesn't have the tail, it is God that helps drive the fly. I had to say that because honestly, I can't take away the God factor. We all know the nanny drama that can happen. I was speaking to my friend Funny this week, and she told me that she was speaking to another friend who told her that she had done 13 nannies in 1 year. And she said she was looking at her and was like, what are you talking about? How can you do 13 nannies? That means you are the problem. It's not possible that you can. And she said it was as if God just laughed at her. And she said in 3 months she had done 7 nannies.
Wow.
This friend of mine, by no fault of ours, but one thing just kept happening. But I would say it can only be God. I've been blessed with very good nannies. My very first nanny stayed with me for about 6 years. She's in school now. In fact, she's an adopted daughter. And I would say gracefully or through some divine intervention, her family have become like an adopted family. So right now, I actually have 2 of her sisters,
Wow.
you know, who are my nannies. You know, so it's been, I've been lucky not to have the
normal,
you know,
high volume
turnovers with nannies, but I've had good girls. And then I also say, you know, when you have them, they're necessary evil. I try to be good to them.
It's important.
It's not a guarantee.
Because you must be doing something right for someone to bring her sisters.
Yeah.
You know, and say, okay, you know what, stay with my, you know, this auntie of mine. You're doing something.
You know,
right,
for them, it's the little things. I say, I mean, I make a joke with my mom. My mom stayed with me for a while, and that also helped. When I come back from work, my handbag is in my living room. I don't take it into my bedroom. So I can have 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, and my mom gets paranoid because, you know, she's like, security conscious. And I tell my mom, man, I don't lock my room. And I tell her, and I said, look, if I cannot lock my children in my room when I'm going out, whatever I have in my room, if I can't trust the people I have in my space, then you have no business being in my space.
So then you can't stay in my house.
Yes, so it's first developing that rule, but then I also make them realize that, look, there's nothing you want. If I can, you will have it. I'll give you an example. So I'm born in June, and I love to take pictures for my birthday. My younger nanny is born in June. And then when I was preparing for my birthday shoot, I turned around and I said, oh, would you like to take pictures? And she was excited. And I was like, what would you like to wear? And she was like, auntie, there's this dress, but I can't ask. And I said, no, ask me. And guess what? She asked for a dress that I wore for my Christmas shoot. Now that is not an ideal request. But you know what? I made that dress for the shoot, and I probably wouldn't wear the dress again. And I told her, go and bring it, and I gave it to her. And this girl was over the moon. Now, I'm not saying that's the ideal, you know, culture. I mean, they should know their place in terms of respect. But I create that space to know that, look, you can trust me as much as I can trust you. And then I also create that environment where I form a very strong bond with my children, so my kids can tell me anything. And I do a bit of divide and conquer. It's necessary.
Some military tactics.
Oh yes, not just military, psychological tactics. So my nannies know that my kids will tell me anything. Anything. And you know, sometimes even down to the silliest, you know, conversations. So I'll tell you a few things that I used to do at first when they came into my space. So my kids come and report to my nannies, and then I put the nanny in the middle, and I'm eyeballing the person saying, and I'm like, why would you do that? Why, you know? So I'm giving that child the sense of, look,
You can tell my
don't
mom
mess with me. My mom has my back, right? But at the so when the child goes, I just tell, don't mind them, you know. So the girls know that, look, no matter what, auntie understands, but there are times when my kids will speak, and then I will take my, you know, I will tell the nanny off in front of the child. This, not being disrespectful, but I take the issue. So I just create that balance whereby, one, you can't intimidate my children. I make that very clear. And I build their sense of confidence every day.
Fantastic.
So they know that you cannot, you can't intimidate me. My 4-year-old will tell you, that's not true. What you're saying, he won't say you are lying, but he would tell you that's not the truth. This is the truth. I'll give another insight. I mean, these examples, you know, are the things that when I sit back and people ask me the questions, even sometimes I don't realize, but through these examples, I realize that, okay, so we have treat time. I don't allow you take your treat just as you like. So on
There's
a
a time
Sunday,
for treats, yes.
I brought, my son wanted treats and I gave him, and I forgot the bag of treats in the living room. On Monday, the nanny was cleaning the house, and it was midterm, and then she opened the bag to offer my son a treat, and he said, this is my younger son, and he said, no, you don't have mommy's permission to do that. I won't take it.
Wow.
So when I came back from work, it was one of the first things my son said to me. He said, Mommy, can you imagine? Auntie Faith was giving me marshmallows without your permission, and I know she didn't ask you, so I didn't take it. And I told her, I'm like, And I said, yes, Auntie Faith, you don't give treats without my permission. You know, so I was happy and I was glad that, okay, this child is just 4. But he knows that you require mommy's permission to give this to me. The child could have said, it's Auntie Faith who offered me. So there was nothing wrong with it. So it's just, and then like I said, it takes God. It's a lot of prayers. It's a lot of prayers, you know, and God just leading the right people to you, or else you can't do it alone.
I love that you mentioned the God part. I think, you know, having that faith is a great part of what we do as individuals, and it helps us as parents. Do you have any story, any testimony in particular to share concerning how your faith in God has helped you?
Chioma, you don't want us to leave today.
Okay, let's have one.
Well, I'll say for everything, honestly. I you know how, so at first I was scared when the journey of parenting started for me. Mine was a very interesting journey, and I wasn't sure, I almost wasn't ready for it. So there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of uncertainty, but I just knew God was on my side. So it was baby steps. I mean, even at that, there are days when I break down and I'm like, you know what, I don't think I can do this. And there are days when I'm done, I pick myself up, and then I have, now the support system is not just nanny system. I have friends.
Yes, friends is very important.
I have friends who have older kids. So I have people who I can turn to and say, look, I'm in this situation.
What do I
do? How have you handled this? And I try to just form a circle of mom friends who we share similar values, so that when it's time, I can, you know, ask, and then ask another person, and they're able to give me tips to help me navigate, you know, that issue or that situation. And it's beautiful to know, because I also have people who are reaching out and saying, oh, how are you doing this? You're doing this effortlessly. Fantastic. And I'm like, it's not effortless. It is a lot of effort.
It might look like that, but
it is a lot of work. But you just know that when you have God in your corner, you're fine.
Thank God.
You're fine. It won't be easy. We don't have it all figured out. There are days when I am confused, and I just say, you know what, Holy Spirit, help me. I can't do this. What do I do?
And it comes through.
And it comes through.
Praise God.
And you know, just with a lot of prayers, with a lot of faith. Some days we don't get it right. Other days, you know, we do an amazing job. And then there are days when I'm overwhelmed. I have different circles, and I have my naked and not ashamed circle. days where
when
like,
you can open up and you're like,
this is not working, and they're like, Sarah, you're doing a good job, just keep at it, you know, okay, why don't you take a break? And it's just having that support system is very key.
Essential.
And then try to educate yourself. Education is very, I mean, it's almost from everything from nutrition to school homework, you know, to it's a lot of work, honestly.
It is.
It's overwhelming.
It is a lot of work, and let's not kid ourselves.
You know, because you're like, how? Especially for those of us who didn't even have the right template. You know, the way we were raised, you know, under very different times and, you know, different climes, and there's no formula to go back, you know. Or that I don't know if, Chioma, you've had that incident maybe where you're speaking with your mom or an older auntie and they're speaking from a place of authority, telling you this is how we did it, and you're like, it doesn't apply anymore.
It's not working today.
I raised 15 children, and it does not matter. You know, I've had to fight
our children are growing in different times, and I tell parents that all the time. You know, for many of us, you know, even the people that grew up in very, you know, in privilege, you didn't see a computer until maybe you were like 18, maybe. And there was one special code that you saw it in school or in business center.
Yes.
But these children are growing up with technology, and that really is the game changer. You know, that's why I always tell parents. So for you, that is, you know, you're busy, and I want to veer off a bit. Not really veer off. It's still, you know, in the same sphere. For you, who is a busy parent, and I want you to speak to parents who have that 9 to 5. But also have other dreams and aspirations. They also want to run a business, and they're mothers as well. And they're like, how am I going to do it? What word of advice do you have? What was the thing that helped you know, look, you know what? I'm going to go on. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to live through all my all the facets and all the gifts that God has given me.
Well, the first thing you should tell yourself, I mean, if you're trying to venture, if you're trying to juggle all the hats, is, look, it's not that hard. What I mean is, there's nothing. So you are trying to do something, and then it's not working. It's not that hard. Get as much information as you can. It's not, you know, sometimes, yes, 9 to 5, especially when you start to rise through the cadre, becomes very tasking and very demanding. Your schedule is very important. You must have every day, everything must be written out. Everything must be spelled out. At home, time for homework. The routine for the children is also very important. It makes it a lot easier. I mean, sometimes they will push the boundaries, but you know that when you come back from school, I'm not at home, this is what needs to be done at this time, and check in as often as you can.
So make sure you're making those phone calls.
Yes, you're making those phone calls, you know, those video calls, you know, if you have CCTV at home.
I love that. I love the idea of video calls and CCTV.
Yes.
So you actually see what's going on.
Yes, because sometimes don't rely on just what you are told. You need to see. And it helps the people at home, it puts them in check when they know that you can
everybody
watch.
Sits up, yeah?
Yes, everybody sits up. So you know they're supposed to do this at this time. You're checking in, you're calling, and then maybe you want to start a business, or you want to write a book, or there's something you want to do. Pace yourself. It's not a destination, it's a journey.
I like that.
And then sometimes you find yourself juggling too much. Sit back and ask yourself, do I really have to do all of this now? Our kids are going through phases. So there's a time when you need to be a full hands-on mom. There are times when, you know, your kids are getting older. So for the things that you need to do, what are the things that will not demand so much of you? Because you are the center of it all.
True.
Your home, your children, your work, your job, your business, so if you are not okay,
nothing else,
you can't function.
True.
And you know, we women, we always put ourselves last. Our mental health, our physical health, you know, everything that has to do with us. So lay all your cards on the table and ask yourself the very honest question. Can I really juggle all of this now? If the answer is no, which of these balls can I drop? I like the analogy of the plastic balls, the glass balls, and the crystal balls. At every stage in your life, your children are your crystal balls. You don't want to drop them. So once you have something that's competing with that time, you check it again. Do I have to do this now? I've had so many, I mean, yes, I'm called the multi-preneur because I do so many things, but there are certain things I've had to slow down on. You know, not because, oh, I didn't enjoy doing them, but the time I would have for them
was affecting the children.
I love to hand paint on fabrics. I started that initiative some years ago when I only had one child who was 2+. And at the time, it was easy to just, when I come back from work, I'll put my son's table beside me. He's painting and we're painting. By the time my son started serious school and homework started,
stepped up.
And then it's at the time where we need to have those conversations. So I come back from work, my phone is out of reach for the next 2 hours because I do quality over quantity in terms of timing. The times I spend with my kids are between 5:30 and 8 p.m. when they go to bed. So for me, it's quality of time, not just the fact that we're spending time together.
What are we doing in that time?
How am I impacting them? How am I getting them to talk about their day? I'll give you an instance. An incident happened. So when we come back, our mommy and me time, we talk about what happened during our day, not just schoolwork. So were you kind to someone today? Was someone kind to you in school today? Did someone do something you didn't like? Did something upset you in school? We talk about it. So my son came back. You know, I came back from work and my son was having a conversation with me and he goes, oh, mommy, something happened in school today that I am not proud of.
Wow.
And I said, what happened? And he said, oh, my teachers stepped out for a bit and my friends were making so much noise and it was getting to me. And out of anger, I said something I wasn't supposed to say. And I said, what did you say? And I was like, mommy, it wasn't a good word. And I said, tell me. And he told me. And I was like, wow, that was heavy. And I said, okay, so talk me through it. And so he told me exactly what happened, how it happened. I now said, okay, but you know you could have exercised self-control. So I had to introduce self-control
to him.
So I asked him, I said, do you know what self-control is? And he gave me a perfect definition. And I said, okay, so these are times when you need to apply. So we developed a technique and I said, you do this. When you want to say something you're not supposed to say, bite your tongue a little bit and count to 5. And check the word in your head. If it's not a good word, don't say it.
Wow.
And he said, okay, mommy. And he said, you know, there was another day. This was our conversation. He said, there was another day something else happened and this was what I said. And it was a very bad, and you know, we talked through it. Guess what? The next day in the afternoon, I got a call from one of the school administrators to say, oh, an incident happened in school. Oh, we've spoken to your son. And he explained, he was remorseful. And I said, oh, was it this? And the person was a bit surprised that
you already knew.
And I told her in detail what happened. And I said, oh, it wasn't the first day. Another day this happened. And she was like, oh, okay. And I told her, I recounted our conversation. And she was like, I've learned a few things from you today. And I said, yes. I create that space where
he's open.
We can, you know, be open and we talk about. So it's not just what did you learn, what happened. And I'm able to, because he's going through a phase. He's becoming a preteen. He's in the preteen phase. So, you know, he himself is developing into this child. And I'm like, oh, he's no longer a baby. So we talking through this, you know, stage
would help.
But that's because I've been able to create that. Now, I can't paint.
You don't have that time.
I don't have that time.
Or you will have the time later.
Yes. By the time he gets to the point where I don't have to hold their hand when they're doing homework, I can come back to that passion that I love. You know, and I have some other businesses too that I have had to put in the back burner because these are my crystals. I can't drop them. Those are my plastic bowls.
You can pick them up later.
I can pick them up later. So I'm not a failure. Or I'm not putting the pressure on myself to say, oh, I started this, I couldn't finish this. At every point in time, what is the important thing that needs at that time? And once you're able to settle with that, you take the pressure away from you. You don't. There's no need to try to please anybody, or I'm not trying to live up to anyone's
expectations or anything. Yeah.
I think doing that just makes it easy, especially when if you're in my shoes where you're pretty much doing it on your own. You know, you juggle the heart. So many businesses I have had to. Then the ones I'm like, okay, I need this.
You go ahead.
Build the structure around it. So that at the end of the day, I am not burnt out.
You can be running. So. That's very important, you know. Moms and dads here watching, I would want us to take that note, that you're not doing it for anybody else, you're doing it for you. So if at a point in time you cannot do it, you feel that, look, something has to give, it's not the children that you're going to sacrifice on that altar of whatever it is. Look for what you can say, okay, you know what? Let it be on the back burner, let it be simmering while I'm dealing with what's most important for now, and you can always come back to it. Sarah, it's been really great talking to you. Thank you so much. And before I let you go, I wanted to just give words of advice to parents who are watching. I know you're big on gratitude. That's really something that every day you remind me about, to be grateful for everything, to always see the good in everything. What advice do you have for our parents who are watching today?
Well, for our parents, I'll say well done. We're all in this boat together. Keep up the good work. Create that environment by just filling your home with a lot of love. Be attentive to the children, what they're saying and what they're not saying. But I will please advise that we try to, in instilling the values. Okay, so another thing that I do is our goal setting every year. We set goals as a family, and we have value goals. Part of our recurring value goals are empathy, gratitude, and kindness. So it is important to ask my kids every day, was someone kind to you in school? Were you kind to someone in school? Did you do something to someone that was not nice? Because let me digress just a bit. Bullying is a thing, right? But the children that bully have parents.
True.
And the parents sometimes don't even know that their kids
are bullying people. Very true.
So have the check with the children. And it's not, did you do something to someone that wasn't nice today? And you talk about it. So let us try to create that, and let's leave the values that we are teaching.
Love it.
Be grateful, show gratitude, teach gratitude. Let them see you live a lifestyle of gratitude. Be kind. Let your children see that you're kind. Teach kindness. And above all, just love upon God. Because he's the one who helps.
Amen. Amen. I know that's a good place to draw the curtain today on Conversations with Chioma. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being with me today.
Thank you
for everyone who listened and who tuned in today. You heard it from Sarah. We can do it all. But you need to pace yourself. Sometimes you need to drop it and say, you know what, this is not time for this right now. Focus on what's important. Focus on the family. And God will give us the strength. He's at the center of it all. And you are at the center. Make sure you take care of yourself. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And see you later. Bye.